Greetings all, Harry Kollatz Jr. here from Richmond, Virginia, where a gentle autumnal rain is falling with the grumblings of thunder, appropriate for this season which is approaching Halloween. I should say appropriate, perhaps. I'm going to be reading to you a section of course this is backwards, I think, of Carlisle Montgomery, my novel, in which the singer-songwriter 6'5", redheaded, gap-toothed, nine-fingered freak Carlisle Montgomery becomes inveigled into participating in a filmed biopic of Edgar Allan Poe by her childhood friend turned cinema auteur, Mark Groth. And this section is, they view together the dailies at the Bird Theater. Now, word of caution, this is set in the early 1990s, mid-1990s, and things have changed at the Bird since then. But there we go, a little bit of lightning for special effects. I love it. All right, so let's go. Mark invited, or rather pleaded, for Carlisle to see dailies at the Rococo Bird Theater in Carytown, the grand palace of cinema, built of striated marble and adorned by plaster gilded urns of fruit and paintings on canvas of gambling Olympians, but otherwise afflicted by spring-sprung and stuffing-oozing seats, suited Mark's view of dilapidated, eerie grandeur. He, by agreeable contract specification, shot the program on film to enhance its character for eventual release to audiences who might sit in places similar to the Bird. Thus he, the cinematographer, editor, and other production staff convene to watch the rushes of the day's shoot in lieu of the 9:15 feature. The production paid the Bird not to show movies for a few evenings. These short bits, framed by the shouts of the slate person and the digital readout of scenes and times, came from one angle, no editing or sound other than recorded. The bare timbers that we're using to build the movie, Mark told Carlisle. He sat in the middle center, hunched forward, arms folded on the chair ahead, like a kid during the exciting parts of an action flick. The projectionist, way up beyond the balconies, received some instructions from Ula, her walkie-talkie held at the ready to relay Mark's quiet instructions. Carlisle, unable to watch the goofy mistakes made huge on screen, offered an unintelligible excuse to run from the auditorium to the bathroom. Mark halted the screening. He rushed to the ladies, where he embarrassed one of the staff. Then into the men's to hear the last of Carlisle's coughs. The toilet flush boomed against the marble stalls. Carlisle, damp-eyed and hair across her face, emerged. "I didn't think I'd be that huge," she declared to Mark, whom she didn't seem surprised to find. He rested against the sink counter and crossed his arms. It's a movie screen. It won't look that way on television. Sort of. But it's also a movie, and you're in it, Carlisle. You're in. His fingers played in the air as though trying to sort the pages of an invisible thesaurus. Watch yourself. You're an impressive person, okay? On screen, even more. I know. She grabbed her cheeks and contorted her face in order to say, "God, it's beautiful!" You're what drives Edgar to create. And I kill him. Mark removed his glasses and pinched between his eyes. Yes, Israfel. But without you, he is a daydreaming, trust fundless dilettante. You give him meaning and purpose. It's not compassionate. What's not compassionate? It's about the artistic impulse. And you're the perspective from 30,000 feet. You see the arc of his life against history. You know what his place is. But he's frail and human and probably got something wired wrong. His body was liable to betray him sooner or later. In this way, you can see this, Israfel. You can see this. There's a ceaseless mystery about his death. Between his writing and that final open-ended question, Mark raised his hands. Poe's life is a good story that will never, ever stop being told. That's practical immortality. Carlisle, arms crossed and shoulders hunched, leaned against the sinks. Practical immortality. Fat lot of good that did Edgar. Carlisle, it's a trade-off. She turned to glare on him. I'm stupid up there, Mark. I flounder around. I look like a... I look like a joke behind him. She lifted her arms, imitating Gordon's poses. I think I am the joke. An element of humor, yes, but you can see how here he's trying to reach these people who don't want to listen, who don't know how to understand him. Carlisle sniffed and used balled-up toilet paper to daub at her eyes. Pathetic. I thought you'd enjoy seeing your work the way I do. Appreciate the offer. She dropped her head. But I just can't. Okay. Patted her wrist. Plenty of actors won't watch themselves, except for award shows. She glanced at him. It's too weird. You'll get used to it. Oh, you won't. Listen, I gotta get back, okay? I'll send Ula. Thanks, but not in my condition. I'll be fine. At the door, he wished Israfel a good evening. Carlisle stood in the bathroom, back to the mirror, for some full minutes before shaking away her confusion and hurt to make the walk home to Scott's Edition. And she... I hope you could hear the rain and the thunder. Kind of makes the bit. By the way, Friday, October 29th, if you're seeing this ahead of time, I'll be presenting Poe's The Raven from a huge book, apparently, that is much older than me. And I'll be sharing another bit about Carlisle and Poe, published by Primer Books of Sydney, Australia. I've been listening to Hugh Jackman. You can't tell, can you? So it's available through me at harrykollatz.com for a pretty good price of $27.50. So have a good evening, have a happy Halloween, and I hope to see some of you at the Artemis Gallery on Friday at the quaint and curious storytelling poem lines begins at 8. Thank you very much.